Hi guys, welcome back to Theory Thursday, and today we're going to talk about key signatures. So up until this point, we've talked about notes, the chromatic scale, we've talked about intervals and how those intervals make up scales, and we talked about a couple formulas that you can build, major and minor scales, and you can build those scales on any note using those formulas. And we also talked about scale degrees. What are the names of each of those notes, their number value, and their nomenclature. And we've talked about different symbols as well. So today we're going to talk about key signatures. Every time we want to write some music, we're not going to sit and try and figure out different scales using those formulas. It's good to know how those scales are built, but now we can kind of forget that for the moment. Just like a lot of things in music, is you learn something to forget it, and then learn something new that's built off of what you already learned. It sounds counterintuitive, but a lot of life is counterintuitive, honestly. So key signatures is just a fast way that we can come up with a scale or a key to use as our foundation in writing music. So today we're going to talk about specifically what that trick is. Alright, so let's first talk about what a key signature is. I'm going to write my treble clef. Pardon the sloppy handwriting. So we got our treble clef. Now, when you go to approach, we'll just talk about reading music for a second. When you go to approach reading music, you're going to see this, and then you're going to see some symbols. For example, it might look like this. It might look like that. And that's your key signature. So what that is essentially telling you is that you're going to use a set of notes, and these target notes are altered using accidentals. So in this case, we can figure out what key we're in by going to the last sharp. For sharp keys, you always go to the last sharp and you go up a half step. So this is G sharp, so that's A. If we remember our piano, G sharp is right next to A. So that means we're in the key of A, which means you're going to use the notes A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and A. But these are going to be raised. So you have A, B, C sharp would be right here. D, E, F sharp would be right here. And G sharp. And G sharp. And we're not going to write the accidentals in the scale because it's already written for you at the beginning of the music. So it's going to be implied throughout the entire piece that those notes will always be sharp unless noted otherwise. Unless it has a, for example, C natural. Or an F, that's not a good example. We'll just say it for an example's sake, F flat, right? That's an harmonic, so that wouldn't necessarily be written that way. F flat would be written as E, but there are some cases where you might see that. But that's off topic. So you'll see what notes are going to be changed in the beginning of the piece of music, and that applies throughout the piece of music unless notated otherwise. Alright, let's look at another example of some key signatures. So you might see what that is. Looks like a sideways B. Those are flats. And that is going to tell you that you're going to have a set of notes, and those notes right here, B flat, E flat, and A flat, are going to be flattened or lowered a half step. So how do we figure that out? Well, it's a little different than the sharp keys. It's the second to last flat that you're looking for. So right here is what key you're in. So this would be the key of E flat, which means you have the notes E, F, G, A, B, C, D, and E. And the E flat, you have E flat, you have F, G, you would have A flat, you would have B flat, C, D, and E flat. B flats, E flats, and A flats. E to E. So that is how we can tell what key is the foundation for the piece of music that we're reading or writing. Those are two examples, but how do we get a good reference if we see more than 3 flats or 3 sharps? Well, what I like to use is we have F, C, G, D, A, E, B. So that is the order of the sharps on the staff. So if you have F sharp, it's always going to be this F sharp, and that is the key of G, because we go up a half step. F sharp, G. Then the next one will be C sharp, which will always be this C sharp. You go up a half step from C sharp, that's the key of D. G sharp, as I said before, will be the key of A. It always goes there. D sharp, E, G, B, D sharp, which is an enharmonic, you may notice, but you just simply go up a half step. So D sharp will be the key of E. And this is all major. We'll talk about the minor equivalents in another video. F, C, G, D, and then we have A sharp. Go up a half step from A sharp, which is B major. F, C, G, D, A, E sharp. You go up a half step from E sharp, which would be F sharp, because E sharp is actually an F. And so you have F, C, G, D, A, E, and then B, E, G, B. And same thing with B sharp. B sharp is actually a C, so you will go a half step up from C, which is C sharp. So that's F, C, G, D, A, E, B for the sharp keys. Now let's talk about the flat keys, which is essentially the same thing backwards. So we have B, E, A, D, G, C, F. Same thing, except for this one is a little different. So let's back up. If you see nothing, that's C major. C major is just C to C, it's all the white keys, no sharps or flats. So you're not going to see the key signature. So let's go back to our flats. E, G, B flat. Now, remember I said you gotta go second to last flat? Well, that is the last flat. Where are you gonna go for that? This you just have to memorize is F major. So the note's F to F with a B flat. There's the two exceptions. C major is no sharps or flats. F major is one flat. Let's continue on. So we have E flat. And these always go in the same positions, just like the sharps. So this would be the key of B flat, because you go to the second to last flat. Then we go to A flat. This would be the key of E flat, B, E, A, D. D flat, B, E, A flat is the key, second to last flat. B, E, A, D, and then G flat. Second to last flat is a D flat, B, G, B, D flat. And then a C flat. Second to last flat is a G flat, so that's the key. And then, B, E, A, D, G, C, and F flat, which is the second to last flat is C flat, so that's the key. So, key things you gotta remember for major scales, or major keys, is for sharp keys, it's F, C, G, D, A, E, B. That's just how I memorized it. I just memorized it as two sets of three. F, C, G, or a set of three and a set of four, sorry. F, C, G, D, A, E, B, and then backwards. Bead, G, C, F. That's how I remember it. Sharp's sharp is a half step up to get to what your major key is. Flats are the second to last flat on the staff to get to where your flat keys are for major. Alright, if you have any questions, feel free to get in touch with me. Leave a comment below. You can also go to musictheory.net for more information. It's a free resource, it's great. It also has exercises that you can do where you can train yourself to recognize keys. It'll just flash you a bunch of different key signatures, and then you can pick which one you think it is. That's a good skill to do. I would recommend that you do that. And in our next video, we'll talk about how we can get to minor key signatures. Alright, thanks guys.